your bed, the one that you like to do it in. Pieces of long brown hair are all over it and still in my brain. I can't explain what it's like not knowing if I'll ever cross your mind. Today was that day, it was that time, and that was all that she wrote for me. You fell away, I don't know why. And that was all that she wrote, and that was all that she wrote. It was that day, it was that time, and that was all that she wrote for me. You fell away, I don't know why. And that was all that she wrote, and that was all that she wrote for me. Something's wrong with your mind. It won't think of me anymore. Was it all a waste of time?
Nice, man.
Thank you very much.
We have the Razz Review Variety Hour here. We got like a bit of music, a bit of comedy, a bit of movie reviews.
Okay, hi guys, welcome to another session of the movie club. While we were on standby, sorry for being extremely late today. We had some technical difficulties, meaning my internet got cut. So now it's back and I'm here. So welcome to this month's discussion. You were listening while we were on standby to the beautiful sound of Lucas Brown, who I'm welcoming here today, who decided to give us some tunes while we wait. And we're here for another discussion. I also want to welcome Yusuf. Hi, Yusuf. Back to another discussion of a film. Our film this month is, as you should know if you're watching this, Black Swan, directed by Aronofsky, 2010. This film was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. It won for Best Actress. I'm not sure if it won anything else, but it was nominated for a bunch of stuff, especially cinematography. I wish it got it because my favorite thing about it is cinematography, but we're going to start talking about that. So guys, welcome to the chat. Let's hear your first impressions. We'll start with you, Lucas.
I first saw this film when it came out in the cinema, 15 years ago, I believe. I actually saw it with you when we were in school together way back when. And
I watched it in film school. 2010, I was in film school.
Was it 2010? I thought it was 2006.
2010.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Okay. I know you have an image in your head that any movie you're watching, I'm there. It's probably because like the voice in your head is me whenever you're watching a movie. It's like, did you see that? That's probably.
I did actually have one of those moments on my favorite shot of the movie, which I will get into when we get to it towards the end.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic tale of the kind of descent into madness that art can bring about, which as artists, we can all relate.
Yeah.
Because we can go mad for our art. And it takes over every aspect of our life. And it was just a great film, start to finish, especially sort of halfway through the second act when things start to kind of change and you can't really tell what's real anymore and what's not. And then kind of 2/3 of the way through the third act is when you realize, oh, I wasn't supposed to know what was real and what was not. And that was, you know, amazing. And it's largely down to the cinematography, as you said. My second favorite shot is the exact moment when things start to fall apart from a narrative perspective, because Nina is the main character's name, I believe. Can no longer tell what's real and what isn't. And we're supposed to not see that happen, but experience it through the shot composition, which I thought was absolutely brilliant and fantastic. And we'll get to that when we get towards the kind of discussing of the three acts of the film. But it's a fantastic tale of mental health issues, dissociative disorders, the suffering for your art, losing control of yourself, losing your grasp on reality. It is like a massive. There are so many examples of so many different issues that the suffering artist goes through from start to finish, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yusuf, what's your first impression? Did you rewatch it recently?
I rewatched it yesterday.
Awesome, so you're fresh.
This movie. You must know by now from our discussions, I love horror. I love intense scenes, like scenes that just stick with you for the whole time. I love, like, you know, these crazy obsessive artists that will like go to heights to reach whatever arts. This movie has everything. I love it so much. I'll watch it and rewatch it again and again. It is probably says something about my state of mind, which we should not get into in this discussion. But yeah, looking forward to talking.
I mean, I don't think if we go down those routes, it's not a movie club anymore.
No, it's a please help us, we're crazy inside club.
Blink
variety hour. We got a little bit of everything.
Blink twice if you're not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I haven't seen this film since I was in film school. The first time I saw it was I was in film school, and it came out. It was my first year, and it was at a time where I was watching movies with a completely different perspective, a very analytical perspective, and that's why I loved it so much the first time I saw it. And like, I'm a big fan of Aronofsky anyway. I mean, this is like Aronofsky, you know, he's nuts, and I love his work. Literally, everything he's ever done has worked for me. Even stuff that hasn't worked for other people, like Pi or Mother. Like, I still love those movies. But like, so I watched this film the first time then, and I looked at it from that perspective, and then I kind of just got swept up by all the other films and amazing things that I was watching in film school, and then this kind of went into the back of my head. And then I haven't seen it. I've read, however, I'm a big fan of the script, and I actually have the script booklet that I've read multiple times because I love how it's written in terms of, you know, characters sort of unraveling and falling apart. And I think the writing for that in this script is really cool. So I have the script booklet that I've read multiple times. So I've read this movie more than I've seen it, if that makes sense. So I haven't seen it since then, and I watched it last week when we had the live screening, and it really is awesome. It's really an awesome movie. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unravel. And yeah, definitely the thing that sticks out the most is the crazy, obsessive, manic artist, you know, and how that could make you brilliant, but it can also make you a messed up person, and how that can make you just completely fall apart. You know, and it's from the first moment of her just like obsessing over her moves. It's something that she inherited from her mother, the obsession. And then like to the last line of dialogue of the film of "it was perfect," you know, it's amazing. I get it. It's bad that I get it. It doesn't bode well for me or my mental health.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Yeah. I get it. And that's not a good thing. Totally get it.
Other people are just like, oh, it's so tragic. I'm like, yes.
I mean,
fade into that wife.
Lucas, you've seen my short film Midas, right? Yusuf, I don't think you've seen it.
Not yet.
Right?
Looking forward to seeing it.
There's an homage in that film to this film.
Doubly looking forward to seeing it now.
Yeah. I don't know, Lucas, if you know what I'm talking about, but it has to do with the mirrors.
Yeah, the thousand mirror shot.
Thousand mirror shot. Yeah, yeah. It's from here because it's not because it applies. It does apply to film in a different way, but for me, like every time I see multiple mirrors, I just immediately connect to that. I'm like, all right, I'm a person who's losing her mind. Here's a lot of mirrors. You know? So it's one of those things. Yeah. So the thing that stands out first before we start talking about cinematography is definitely we got to talk about the thing that this movie is most famous for, which is Natalie Portman's performance in this film, which is actually definitely
absolutely
the best we've ever seen her. For
yeah.
sure.
I mean, it was definitely her redemption for the prequels.
I don't blame her for this, but I don't blame her for prequels. But yeah, I mean, Natalie Portman.
But
gives an
yeah, I mean, obviously,
performance.
that she since the prequels she had been in V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta was the film that we watched when we all went as a group. Sorry,
yes.
different, excellent Natalie Portman performance.
But this is much better.
But
much.
yeah, I mean,
on another level.
I mean, she's a tour de force in the film. The way that she was able to kind of characterize both sides of the white and black swan, not through the dance itself, which is obviously what it's meant to be, but also her own character.
Oh, yeah.
As she progressed through the film, her expressions, you know, it goes all the way back to the greats. You know, we're talking Monroe level like expressionism going on. And it's just absolutely fantastic. And the way that she brought the intensity through the subtlety of the wrinkle, that her eyebrows wrinkling in a different way when she was portraying the side of her that was the black swan that was starting to come out.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, by the way?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's the cool thing. She
was...
does this transition. Like, she goes from, when we first see her, you feel like she's literally made out of paper. She's so fragile. And she's just like, oh my God, you know? And you're like, oh my God, don't bump into this woman. She's going to fall apart, you know? And then slowly she starts like...
The grapefruit is so pink today.
Yeah. And then she starts sort of like... getting this like intense dark energy, and it's so like it's there somehow, and it's there not she doesn't go from oh I'm so soft to oh I'm black swan. She does it gradually in a very like smooth way that you just literally watch her transform for an hour and a half, and every scene there's something added to her from the scene that's before, added to her like persona, to her intensity, to her darkness. She's just transforming bit by bit, and it's moments, it's looks, it's, you know, even the tone of her voice changes from the beginning of the film when she's talking to I think that I should you know, and then like when she's talking to anybody later on, including like she talks to the other dancers, she's talking to Mila's character and to her mom, like her voice starts becoming sharper, she starts becoming more expressive until she finally becomes the black swan. Just
while at the same time remaining the kind of balance. Once the balance shifts, you start to really notice it. She's credited for the transformation for when she starts scratching at her shoulder. But it's like, bro, that's the physical manifestation of what happened internally 7 scenes ago. Like, what? Don't worry about it. This is for the people who didn't pick it up. She's actually going mad. But if you pay attention, like us film students will do, it'll go a lot more smoothly, as you say. The transition is extremely organic in that it starts with, like, the thing that I noticed was the eyebrows. Like, her eyebrows furrow in different ways when she's the white swan versus the black swan, and it's amazing. And then by the end, towards the kind of tail end of the third act, when she's first unveiled as the black swan, she looks like a completely different woman because of the expression on her face.
Yeah.
She goes from Natalie Portman to like a Tim Burton-esque Helena Bonham Carter straight away. But by that point, it feels like an explosive moment because it's the first time that she's actually unveiled.
When she just runs to camera, nuts.
Yeah, and her eyebrows are all the way evil by that point. But that was just, you know, her reaching her final form, hashtag Freezer, hashtag 1995, hashtag BBT, hashtag like, share, comment, subscribe.
And then that final moment where she's staring to the mirror, realizing what's going on and what's going to happen to her as she's putting on the white swan makeup again.
Yeah.
My God, like just the way she's trembling as she's putting on the makeup. That's
exactly.
That's how you get
because
an
the
Oscar.
character-
That's how you get
The
an
character,
Oscar.
the
That's
character
how you get an
herself,
Oscar.
the character herself didn't believe that she was the white swan anymore. And that was the part of her that had come to her so naturally before, the perfectionist, the delicate little flower. But by that point, she was actually trying to cover up the black swan.
Yeah.
It was
that's
amazing.
And that's
because
the
she started
choice.
the film-
And that's the choice where she literally, and this is in the script, by the way, she literally is covering herself in white because of that, right? Because now she's not somebody who's becoming the black swan, who's pretending to be the black swan, who's the white swan. She's now the black swan. And just
I also read
she's
that scene that
hiding it.
basically she knows what's going to happen to her if she goes and dance, and she has to decide she's going to go anyway because she has to be perfect in that final scene.
Yeah. I just want to take this
So much
moment to
going on.
welcome Yasser, who has joined us also late. Today is a late day for everybody. Hey, Yasser, welcome to the chat.
Hi, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Natalie Portman's performance in this film. This is the first point of discussion right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen this film recently, or are you coming in with?
I honestly, I haven't seen it, within the past few weeks, but it is still kind of fresh because I saw it later than when it was released. Because it was released when I was still living in Saudi and there was no access to it. So when I moved to Dubai, I think like a few years later, I don't know how I got my hands on it, but it was a movie that I really wanted to see. It was much after she won, Natalie Portman won the Academy Award for her role. She won, right? I don't think she was just nominated.
Yes, she won.
Yeah. And I was like, and I love, just full disclosure here, I love dance in any form, ballet, modern dance and stuff. And I love movies that talk about this subject matter. So it was something that I really wanted to explore. I went in fresh. I didn't know anything about the movie. I did not realize how psychological it was and all those layers, because the psychological aspect is also something that I like in movies. It's studying psychology and all this like kind of dual sort of, I don't know what was going on. So when all of that kind of materialized in the movie, I was very happy with the experience, although it was kind of dark. It wasn't a happy movie, but it was really, there are scenes that stick in my head with this movie, the creepy crawl, like with the spine, and then many of the beautiful,
like for me, one of the things, let's talk about that for a second. This movie is full of uncomfortable moments that are physically, like, they make your skin crawl. Literally, you see skin crawl and your skin crawls, and this is a director's touch. This is classic Aronofsky cinema. He loves to make us look at things and be like, what am I watching? And like just make you so uncomfortable in your own skin. And I think that he takes uncomfortable in your own skin to a literal sense in Black Swan, where he literally makes her skin be misshapen and weird, and like little feathers start sticking out. And like for me, like the parts where she starts picking her nails, I can't watch that. It really bothers me, because I have a problem. I like when I'm anxious, I bite the skin off my fingers. I bite my cuticles off, and a lot of times this kind of stuff happens, and it really hurts. So I just, again, we've all agreed that this discussion is explaining how none of us are right in the head. So yeah, I tend to sometimes like pick at my nails and then I'd like, and then like it would bleed and stuff. So like that stuff really messes with my head when I saw it. My God, it's so cool. Like, but this Aronofsky, he takes things to such a high level of like uncomfortable and raw and visceral stuff. And the cool thing is that you wouldn't like. He did this with Requiem for a Dream. He did this with Pi. He did this with... but these subject matters, you expect this kind of uncomfortable stuff to be part of them. But then you look at Black Swan, which is why I like... It really stands out from any of his films, is that it's not a movie that typically... It's not a subject matter that you would connect this like uncomfortable, weird stuff. You think dancers, you're saying you love dancing films, Yasser. It's not a dancing movie at all. This is a disaster, and like
No, but
and-
it portrays dance, but it's interesting that it takes the subject matter from a very dark angle, because in a lot of the choreographed scenes, the dance scenes, they're beautiful. They're eerie and creepy and sometimes violent.
I would disagree, because again, I know dance and I watch a lot of it, and I've been in musical theater. There isn't a lot of dancing in this movie. The thing that actually dances in this movie is the camera, and the camera movement.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you're talking about ballet, right? This is not a ballet movie. Like, I would sit here because I
not
yeah,
in that,
why?
yes, not in
Because
that
you don't
sense.
see the dancers full form, right? You don't really see them.
That's
like
true.
there isn't a single moment of like, oh wow, look at that choreography. You don't get that moment in this film at all. You
Except for
mostly
the part where she's the black swan, she does the spins.
Yeah, the
Like,
spin,
that one
but
is-
even the
No,
spin
no.
is heightened, and it turns into like a CGI effect of her fully transforming. It's more about the experience. It's not about the
Later.
dancing.
Not the beginning.
Yes, Lucas.
So this is where I wanted to talk about my favorite shot in the film. You're right. You don't see the full forms. And what you don't see is the full forms through a movement. You see them in between movements almost, until my favorite shot of the film, when she's rehearsing with the pianist in the studio.
That's the
and
one I remember.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. She's dancing, and then the camera pans away. And then when you're watching it, you see her in the mirror, and then you see her body and then in front of the camera. So you see the two portions of the shot being composed. But what you see is, like, it was absolutely amazing. I couldn't for the life of me tell you how they managed to pull this off. But basically, she had her arms up, and she had pointed her toes. And then as she puts her arms down, you see in front of you, no. You see in front of you that her feet are going flat. And then for just a split second, her lower half in the mirror doesn't actually move in sync with her body in front of the mirror. And that's the first instance that I was able to pick out of her actually starting to lose grip with who she is between the white swan and black swan.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely amazing. And then directly afterwards, there's a much more obvious and sharper turn where she turns away from the mirror, and you see her body turn, but her legs stay in place for half a second, and then they turn.
There's another shot where she's like, her back is to the mirror. I have that shot up right now. It's all in the same scene. Her back is to the mirror, and like then like her
In
her
the
reflection-
mirror, she turns
her
back.
reflection
Yeah.
turns back at her, which is really creepy, and that's where the horror elements come in a little bit. Yeah,
But
for sure,
that's what we were talking about. That he did it subtly 3 shots prior, and then he does it obviously in that one.
And then he brings it up. Yeah, definitely. These are some of the cool moments.
Once more for the people at the back.
Yeah.
Nearly made me spit out my apple juice.
Yeah, but this is my argument to you, Yasser, is that why this is not a ballet or a dance film, because it looks like it is, but that's what's on the surface. Underneath, it's about like mental illness and obsession. Right?
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
it
I
doesn't
think
treat
you misconstrued
dance.
what.
No, but what I mean is that's what's so unique about it. So you'd think you're going to watch a Tchaikovsky ballet movie, and then you find an interpretation of both that is very dark and disturbed.
Yeah.
That works.
That's exactly what I was getting to, actually. I think maybe I just illustrated that wrong, because again, I didn't know what I was getting going in, so I was intrigued from the idea of a ballet movie that I guess has a dark angle to it, but I didn't know what I was going to get into. So when like you said, the sort of eerie, disturbing, actually very claustrophobic psychological aspects that come with schizophrenia, I imagine. I can't remember if that's the right word or whatever, but like that's definitely what I'm talking about. But whatever, what I meant is whatever portrayal of dance that was introduced in the film it stuck in my head, like we were saying just now, that scene where she's dancing with I forget his name, that I can't get that scene out of my head, even though I saw this movie a few years ago.
The cool thing about it is that, again, This
It's
movie,
memorable.
no, the cool thing about it is that the way this movie treats dance is that it completely, for me, eliminates the beauty of dance. Eliminates it.
The grace, yes,
It
it's
removes
not
it.
graceful.
This is
It's
like,
not graceful.
and whenever they're actually dancing, the camera cuts away, or a lot of the times we only see the dancing in mirror reflections. We never get this, this shot of like dancers doing
Yeah,
their thing
yeah.
in a beautiful way. But what it does show you is all the other things, all the other
happen.
elements that are connected to dance, and they're all rough, and they are the
And
opposite of the final result,
tumultuous,
which is
yeah.
one of my favorite things that he does is showing how they take their shoes and they start ruining them in order to make them
Yeah.
more comfortable, and how they start like ripping, that's like, dance on the surface is this beautiful thing, but for this
A
beautiful
graceful thing, yeah.
to happen, people are getting ripped to shreds in backstage and in rehearsals. And that's, I think, the thing that this movie really hones in on.
Yeah.
It's not about dancing, it's the experience of a dancer. And
Yes,
especially
yes,
as a
yes,
ballet
that's
dancer.
For sure like that. Like there's a
I agree with
there's a
that.
YouTube video I just watched before coming here where this professional ballet dancer analyzes like dance scenes in movies, and she talks about Black Swan, and she says like actually the Swan Queen is one of the toughest, like most physically demanding dances she's ever done, and she would just like go and throw up after doing like some of those things like backstage.
Wow.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Ballet is disgusting
Yeah.
if you see anything other than what you do in a seat when you pay a ticket. If you ever go see anything
Yeah, yeah.
else, go just a step behind the stage. It's a nightmare.
So
At night.
Yeah, I can
beginning Black
imagine.
Swan scene,
I can
the
imagine.
Black Swan scene where she's like twirling, the YouTuber actually said like after you do that you can't walk for like a day. It's like it kills your
It's
left
nuts.
leg basically.
It's insanity. Look at what this is not what humans are supposed to do. This is like,
That's why it's
And,
awesome.
it's nuts. It's
And
nuts.
we're-
But I think
and
that
we
he
haven't
honed in on
even
this.
gone into you haven't even gone into like the sort of the dietary issues that they go through, like in
and
order
not
to
eat,
be light
and
enough
they have to
fly.
smoke, and all this kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this is nuts. And you saw like Natalie Portman lost so much weight. She looks horrific. Like somebody get this
Yeah.
burger. But like again, the idea is that this movie, like what I like about Aronofsky, and this is what I'm discussing, is that he likes to hone in on the ugliness of humanity, the ugly side of us in every film. He just looks at what is so ugly and raw and horrific about us. And then when he's doing something biblical, when he's doing something that's, about drugs, it makes sense for you to go for the ugly. But when you're doing it about ballet and you're going for the ugly, that's what makes
It's
his
unexpected.
film. Yeah, it's completely like not what you would expect out of him at all. And then when he does it, it's just, I find it really cool. Speaking of the mirrors, I want to touch on the mirrors a little bit because we've mentioned them a lot and they're a big part of this film. And the way he utilizes mirrors in the film, mirrors are a character in this movie. They're part of their
Yeah.
character. The mirror is the
Yeah.
character, right? It's another character. It's another window. And I think it's very important to talk about it because there's a lot of stuff that is revealed. Especially this is what I like about the movie club supposedly is we're supposed to rewatch these films and look at them really, to discuss them. Because when you watch it the first time, you don't notice this stuff. You have to rewatch to see this kind of stuff. And the cool thing about this is that I saw this time around some really interesting use of these mirrors. And there's always something that is being revealed in there, whether it's about her true nature or whether it's about her delusions. Like Lucas was saying, it gives you sort of this window into what, because she's pretending to be okay, but then something happens in the mirrors and then you see, okay, she's absolutely not okay. Like one of the coolest moments, for example, that I hadn't noticed before and I noticed this time is when Mila Kunis comes to her place and like they hook up, and like later you find out that this was all in her head. When when she comes home with Mila Kunis and her mother is like, what are you doing, blah blah blah, and Mila Kunis is supposedly behind her, you see Mila Kunis in the mirror, okay? And then she starts walking away and the mirror is segmented. We've seen this mirror before in the film. It's like a segmented mirror. It has like multiple sections. And she crosses one section and the other section she disappears and then she crosses the second section, showing you like she's a ghost. She's not actually there. And it sets up the reveal later. And because I'm rewatching it, I saw that, I'm like, oh my God. And even when she walks by, and there's something else I want to talk about, which is the sound. Sound design in this movie is madness. Is amazing, right? Whatever you like, when she does that, when she disappears in the mirror, you even hear a breath come in. You hear like the black swan breath that you hear throughout the film, the thing that keeps coming in. It's there. It's there when Mila Kunis walks into her bedroom, which is cool, you know. So really, like the use of mirrors in this film is just fantastic. You know, windows to a very.
And then even like, did you notice with the mother on the flip side, like the mother covered all the mirrors with portraits of herself. So it's like she's like stopped looking at herself. She's just like looking at this infantilized, like kind of cartoonish version of what she wants reality to be.
Because because this was her obsession, and her daughter, she gave it to her daughter, right? And now she couldn't get this. She couldn't be Swan Queen. She couldn't do this when she was young, and it's hinted there in the dialogue for her backstory. She couldn't do this, right? So it used to be her in the mirror that's gonna become this thing, right? But she never could do it, and then now her daughter is that hope. Like she kind of transferred living vicariously her dream through her daughter. This is why in her room all the mirrors are closed and it's replaced with her daughter's image that she's painting, that she's manipulating, which is a whole other, like the dynamic between the two of them is disturbed, to say the least. Again,
toxic,
amazing.
to say the least.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing. But like, again, one of the cool things about the film. Speaking of dynamics, let's talk a little bit about Mila Kunis's character.
Yeah, I wanted to,
Yeah, because that's cool. I thought that, you know, she was really fantastic in this movie. And,
she was a standout for me.
Yeah.
Mila Kunis, I had never seen her in a dramatic role prior to this film. So it was interesting for me. I mean, I knew she was in this movie going in, but it was interesting for me to see her performance. And she was really a standout for me. I mean, I knew, you know, Natalie Portman's going to bring it. You know, Natalie Portman brings it when she's coming to a movie. So there were no surprises there. It was just the movie itself was a surprise, and she delivered. But Mila Kunis was a pleasant surprise for me. Like, she really delivered this sort of, I guess she's a conniving reflection of Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah.
But it was just, she
and
played
reflection
that
is
twisted...
100%. The word reflection is exactly what it is. Like she looks
Yeah.
in her reflection, like Nina looks at her reflection and sees Nina, and then she wants to see what's the name of the girl? I forgot, Ellie or something like that. I forgot the name of the girl that Mila plays. But yeah, there's even moments, again, talking about that cinematography and those visuals, there's even a lot of moments in the film where they are framed as reflections of each other. You know, it's amazing. Like, I'm putting that image now. You guys can't see it, but you'll see it on YouTube. Yeah, there's a lot of moments where the two of them are passing each other, and they literally physically reflect each other. Like, this is insane detail. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They're just mirroring each other.
I wanted to ask about a backstory question. Do we know the reason why he picked this subject matter? Was there something hinted to him about the dark side of, you know, dance and these girls that go into dance school and the trauma they experience? Because I know there are documentaries about it and all that, and there are different other content that explores the world of dance in that light. So I just want to know, why do we know why he picked this subject? Is there anything out there?
I'm not aware of anything. I don't think he has a close relationship with ballet itself. I think he just wanted to do a film about like an obsessive artist, and some of the most obsessive artists in the world are the ballet dancers. They are obsessed, and also there's again this really ugly side to what they do, which is so beautiful. And I think this literally contrast between black and white, between beautiful on stage and ugly
but
backstage.
It's really, but bipolarism is very accurately depicted in this movie. So I feel like there's a lot going on.
Who's bipolar? I don't think she's
Isn't she bipolar?
Isn't
she bipolar?
So. I mean, it's
never
never
said
it's never stated. I don't think she's bipolar because she hallucinates. You know, I don't think that's what.
No, that's true. She doesn't materialize any flip behavior.
No.
It's just all in her head. So what is her condition, though? I mean, it feels like it was very. I don't know the words, the psychological.
I don't think it's really about just mental illness, as in she has like some sort of mental illness. I think she suffers from a lot of issues, mentally speaking, due to her upbringing and due to her relationship with her mother. And I think
it's just like it's very
trauma.
Expressionistic, right? Like, it's not really like this kind of disease. It's not representing. It's just like
Yeah.
So, for example, like it says from the beginning that she's a perfectionist. She wants everything to be absolutely like, in order. So even when they tell her you have to go loose, she even like lets loose in a way that's like perfectionistic and extreme.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, let loose, sure, I'll just go crazy then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I also like really in the cinematography how she's also an isolated person. This also reflects her, like some of her issues. She's always isolated. She's always alone. You see a lot of instances where she's sitting, like where the dancers are always sitting and warming up on the floor. They're all sitting together, but she's always alone. She's always behind a wall. She's always cornered. She's always under pressure. So it's again, I think it's more of a, like, her mental breakdown is a result of many things. I don't think it's just she's just bipolar. I think that her mother raised her in an extremely unhealthy way, as we can see, and that has led to her becoming
And how
an
it's
obsessive.
materialized.
Yeah, and she's definitely obsessive in a way. She's definitely anxious. She has anxiety. And then just keep in mind that we saw that she's also starving herself. She's not eating. And
Yeah,
that
yeah,
can
yeah.
also cause you to break down.
Disorders.
And also the itching. She's definitely itching, and this is
Oh,
anxiety,
that
right?
just, oh
This
my
is,
God.
and we never see it. By the way, we never see her physically do it. We only see her reflections do it.
And you hear the sound.
Yeah, but
like
why?
you were saying sound.
Yeah. And why is that? It's because she's doing it subconsciously. Whatever we see in the mirrors is always her subconscious. It's never her conscious. This is why there's one time where she's standing with all the mirrors and we literally hear the scratching sound and she turns around and we see like her reflection scratching herself. And that's probably where that cut is coming from that her mother is worried about. It's that scratching sound. So yeah, definitely, like in terms of cinematography, there's some cool stuff in there. I just want to do a shout out to Neo, who's saying hello. He's saying there's the elements that he uses in Requiem and in Mother, but in Black Swan, it's his style's top use. I guess is the coolest way he does use his stylistic things. He's also asking us to talk about Vincent Cassel, who is her instructor, who is a character I don't like for very obvious reasons. Okay, that sleazy French man. But I don't think his role is, for me, I mean, I don't know if you have a different opinion, but I don't think his role is really
He wasn't a standout for me, but
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of seemed like the typical, douche.
Yeah,
but in
I
a
mean,
dance. But I mean, I don't recall also. So I don't want to be unfair. I don't recall so much about him. I maybe recall a few instances of their interactions and like that mirror dance scene that they had where they were rehearsing. But I don't really, there's not a lot that comes to mind about his character. So I don't know what to say in that front.
I mean, again, to me, it's just I think he's just representative of the pressure that these dancers are under and how like even the people who are training them, they have a responsibility for their physical and mental well-being, but I think they don't take that, and they're so obsessed and focused about the final product that I think they push these dancers for greatness, but I think they just are unaware of the effect, the psychological
And the damage they're doing,
that they're doing, and I think that's what he represents. And also the over-sexualization of the dancers, maybe because he is really very sexual with her, and I find it extremely inappropriate and uncomfortable, and I would punch his freaking lights out if I was, because you're supposed to be the trainer, you're a figure of authority. What are you doing touching and hooking
And
up
maybe
with people
playing on their
backstage?
vulnerability,
Because they're very self-conscious and they're very and you're just like playing on that and getting your sticky French hands all over them. So I don't like his character, but that's me. And I don't like him even in the film. I think he's one of the weak points in the film, because I wish that he was a more complex character, and I wish that he had a bigger role. He's not portrayed as a villain, and he's not portrayed as, he's just there to just be part of the pressure that's on her, which is very two-dimensional. So I don't like him in the film, and I don't like his scenes. Like, that's just me.
No, but that's an interesting point, because what you're saying is like if he had more of a prominent role, we'd see more depth to what was going on, to his role in the damage that was inflicted on her and other dancers as well. That's an interesting point of view. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and
because
I mean,
you're right. When we're thinking of what's going on with her, it's a little bit outside of some of the people in the film other than her mother, and and the life as a dancer.
Yeah, and they even like introduced the character of the previous dancer that he used to also put his French grabby little hands on. Played by really nicely by Winona Ryder, by the way. And like they show you that he just like there's the male figures in this world maybe like take women and just like use them for their looks and stuff, and then they just kind of throw them away. But it's not just them. Again, he's representative of the system itself, because also the system of dance, like the system of acting in Hollywood and system of modeling, like all of these worlds that deal with women's physical beauty, they tend to sort of suck them dry and then throw them out whenever they become of the age that is no longer attractive, which usually is very young in these cases. It's not even like she's 60
30
70
or something.
She's still a young beautiful woman, but no, she's now an old dancer. And even you see the other girls say so. He does touch upon these things, but very lightly. And it's not the strength of the film for me. Like when you compare it to something like Whiplash, for example, and you see how a figure of authority putting that kind of pressure, they really dig deeper in that dynamic than they do here in Black Swan. In Black Swan, it goes internally a lot more than it talks about these external forces that are causing this pressure and this person to fall apart. Even Neo is in the chat. He's pointing out that it's very similar to Whiplash, and I really like Whiplash. So the film, there are comparisons that have been drawn between this and Whiplash, and there are comparisons that have been drawn between this and Fight Club. Actually, it's like Fight Club.
I was going to say that a Fight Club does come to mind.
Fight Club, but for women.
Does come to mind. For women. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I was going to say something about that. That these films, I mean, I don't know how you term it, that there are a lot of these films that play with the idea of a character who appears to be real, but then you discover isn't. Yeah. And I find that it's always very tricky to play with this concept. And there are very few films who pull it off. And I guess Fight Club and Black Swan are two examples of how you pull it off.
I love films that deal with the unraveling of characters and just them falling apart completely. And I also love films where you have an unreliable narrator. It's such a fantastic tool, as in like your main character, you're seeing the film from their point of view, and you don't know if what they're seeing is real or not. And it creates this sense of unpredictability and tension that is really just beautiful. It's one of my favorite tools personally. I love the unreliable narrator, like here, like in Vanilla Sky, like in Mr. Robot, and of course Fight Club. Like just unreliable narrators who you don't know if what they're seeing is real or not. But we have to take their word for it because they are the lead in every. They're the point of view. And the thing that distinguishes the style, which is here as well, is that every scene they're in it. You never see the film from anybody else's perspective. We're never with her mother alone, or with her friend alone, or with the instructors alone. She's always the person who is guiding us through the narrative, and she's going nuts. Not the best of guides, but this is very compelling storytelling that I personally am a fan of, and we see it here.
It's like when your grandma tells you one of those old stories and she starts going
Joker
into
as well about unreliable narrator. Exactly, Joker.
Well, that's true.
Also in every scene, it's a pattern. Yeah. If you see if the main character is an unreliable narrator, more often than not, the entire film is seen from their perspective.
Yeah,
like Fight Club.
It's interesting.
Also,
which one?
Whiplash. Even though Whiplash completely from Fight Club. I'm talking about unreliable narrators like Mr. Robot, like Fight Club, like.
Whiplash is completely from his point of view, but it's not really that unreliable.
No, he's not unreliable narrator. I'm just saying, just doing it from his point of view. Actually, that's the only comparison I was making. But yeah, unreliable narrator being when you have an unreliable narrator, the writers and the director usually will put you in their shoes the whole time because they make you know that you're riding a very bad train, but you're not getting off it. You're in it. You're in the middle of it. Yalla go. And you're like, what is even happening?
And there's nobody else to kind of offset that perspective,
exactly.
I guess. There's no other opinion, yeah. That's kind of cool. That's an interesting observation. Got to pay attention to that when I watch more of these movies.
So
Yeah.
look at these examples. So Joker is like that.
That's
the
true.
Fight
It's very
Club,
true about the Joker.
Fight Club, this Vanilla Sky, like this kind of stuff, where you can't tell.
Vanilla
it's really
Sky was awesome.
I love Vanilla Sky actually, but I also love the original film, which most people haven't seen. It's actually a remake of a Spanish film.
Oh, I've never seen the original. That's interesting. I did
It's
not
really
know
good.
that.
It's called Open Your Eyes. It's amazing. It's actually fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to the ending. We gotta wrap this up soon. So moving on to the ending of the film, let's talk about that ending, which is absolutely madness. So once she confronts Mila Kunis's character, and then she stabs her, and then she puts on the makeup, like we were saying with Lucas, hides the black swan that just committed murder, and then like she goes outside and she does the black swan, and then she comes back and she finds out that this was all in her head. This is the Fight Club moment, and then she's bleeding and she decides, I'm gonna go out there anyway. She starts putting the makeup on her face and she goes out there as the white swan, and then she falls to her death. What do you guys think of the ending of this film? Her last line, of course, at the end is, it's perfect. She says goodbye, and she says goodbye to her mom. I think it's just such a beautiful way to end the film.
Yeah.
No words, just one of the best endings ever made.
Yeah.
And very cool observation that I just recently heard about is like, notice that instead of fading to black, it fades to white. It's like
White.
it's the death of the white
Yeah.
swan.
That was something I noticed the first time I saw it, and it's yeah. So my question: did she turn into the white swan when she died? I think that was a question that was playing in my head the other time when I watched it. I think that was something
She became the black swan. Like what we were talking about earlier with Lucas is that she was the white swan the whole time, and then she transformed into the black swan.
Into the black swan. Yeah, that was
Once you go black swan, you never go back. Swan. So she's the. I stole that from SNL. That's actually a Jim Carrey joke. Anyway, she puts the. And then she's black swan. She goes back to her room. This is what we were talking about. And then when she's putting the makeup, and this is in the script, she's crying, and she's covering her face. Now she's putting this white to cover the fact that she's the black swan underneath.
Yeah.
And the white swan is nothing but a visage. The white swan is gone. She's dead. She's not the white swan anymore. That's even a line that she says to her mother when she tells her, like, where's my beautiful little girl? And she tells her, she's gone. Like, she's gone. This is what we have, the black swan. And then she's gonna go out there on the stage one last time, and that's why she cries, and then she starts putting the white stuff. She's covering the black swan underneath. She's no longer the white swan pretending to be black. She's the black swan pretending to be the white swan in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of those endings where, a tragic ending that was necessary. Like, you can't see it. There's no coming out of that one, like, oh, everything's okay. I finished the dance and now I'm going to be a normal person. I'm going to retire. Like,
There is no normal.
it's just not.
That would have been an even more tragic ending. Come on.
No, there is no normal.
I just became a regular grandma or something in the future. You just see her with kids and stuff. No. She went out the way we expected.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, great film at the end of the day. I really enjoyed watching it again. Actually, I think Aronofsky
It is.
actually.
It is one of my standout films for me as well. Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
Aronofsky is extremely underrated.
I definitely need to watch The
I
Wrestler.
agree with
now.
you.
You need to watch what?
The what?
The Wrestler. Kind of like.
I haven't seen The Wrestler. I actually haven't seen The Wrestler.
it either. I've heard about it, and I don't know why I've never seen it.
Me too.
That's a good one.
From what I've heard, it's very, very similar. It's like Aronofsky kind of playing around with the idea from a different medium.
Interesting. Yeah, I even forget about this movie every time I talk about it.
And wrestling is ballet for guys. So
yeah.
Or soap
Black
opera
Swan for guys. Yeah. Black wrestler.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like old
I think
Toys R
that's a
Us.
good
Like,
one.
you have Black Swan for girls and then like the Wrestler for guys. Like
Yeah.
back to back.
For sure, definitely. Yeah. Well, okay, all right. So definitely that's something that I will definitely watch. Actually, The Wrestler. Now you've got me intrigued. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it. So yeah, just a big announcement at the end. So thank you guys, and thank you guys in the chat who are joining us. Sorry we were very late today. A quick note though that I'm going to be sort of putting the movie club a little bit on hold. And I mean, we'll still have our group, and I might still suggest a film every month that we can just watch and discuss.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of
Talk in the
holding
chat.
these live streams on hold due to live commitments, and also because they take a lot of work, and to be honest, Yani, there isn't enough engagement for them.
Yeah, we know. We
yeah,
understand.
it's a little bit, yeah, there's enough engagement for them. But I like, for me, I'm enjoying the movie club
Conversation.
because of watching the films. So I want to continue doing that because it's really cool. Because I ended up watching a bunch of films that I actually haven't seen, like There Will Be Blood. Like, I have not seen that movie.
I've discovered so many great films just in these past couple of months thanks to this.
Yeah, so
Like Network,
yeah.
I didn't even it never crossed my mind, and now I'm going.
Oh, you never
to
saw the
actually
network, huh? Oh,
I never saw
Network.
Network, and I signed up for a monologue class just to do that, like Forces of Nature monologue. I'm gonna do that next month. Like, that's on my plan.
Amazing.
That was one of those good movie. I think that's nice. I think we can, I mean, it's unfortunate that we won't be doing this for a while, but it's kind of nice that we can use maybe the group to chat about any movies that
I'm
we
still
announce.
gonna do a movie every month. I think I'll still do a movie of the month. Maybe I'll do maybe I'll switch more to classics, and then do like a classic review of the movie that we watch this month.
Yeah.
Like do a classic review every month, something like that. I'm still thinking about it, but I think this live format is not working out, especially because when we did this, we were all in quarantine and we were all at home.
Yeah.
Now everybody's busy, everybody's running around, so it's really tough.
Yeah, it's a little harder. Yeah.
It's a little harder to get people to sit around for this kind of discussion. It's a little too intellectual. It's true.
But
I mean,
fun.
I don't know.
It's high quality.
Yeah.
High
But
brow.
so I think like we can still have these discussions, and I still think the movie club will still be active, and I'll still pick a movie every month for us to watch, and I'll review it, and we can always have these discussions on the group, and we can totally go live. We can even go live on the group itself and talk if we want, or we can even just discuss it in I'll put up the review. We can discuss things there. It'll be open. But I think just doing
Sounds
the
like
live,
fun.
yeah. I mean, maybe I'll bring it back. I don't know. But for now, I think I'm going to put it on hold.
Yeah. Life commitments, we get it.
Yeah, and it's...
Life happens.
Yeah. And again, like I said, it's also for me, it's not feasible because it takes a lot of work to do these, and there isn't just not enough engagement. I mean, we love it, but, enough people have to love it for it to take this much more work.
Yeah, I know. No, that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Very fair.
So we'll do threads, we'll just do discussion threads in the group, and it's fun.
And those are fun. Those are still fun too. So
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining me very much. Thank you to everybody in the chat.
Thank you.
Keep an eye out for the channel. The channel is The Movie Club by Razz Reviews. The link is in the description down here. And we are still watching movies together every month. So we'll pick and also the reason why I'm stopping, by the way, is because for October, there's a whole month of movies that we're going to be watching in October. And for me, October is madness because I watch a horror movie and a Halloween movie every single day.
Leading up to Halloween.
Yeah. So that's, I have a whole thing.
We need to have Halloween watch parties. We need to do it.
Well,
it has to be done.
It is happening. So this is what I'm saying. So
that could be fun. Yeah.
Me and Hobby Nation are gonna post probably within the next 2 days. We're gonna post a daily viewing list, essential Halloween movies that we voted on with the admins. Yasser is one of the people who voted on it as well. So we have a list of 31 essential movies to watch.
Yes.
So we'll be watching them together, and it'll be fun. So there's
Are there going to be details about where to watch these and all that? Because I'm in for that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably we'll do that. I'm not sure exactly of the details, but it'll be on Hobby Nation. It'll definitely be on my page on Razz Reviews. I'll post information about if we do watch parties. I mean, we're not going to do 31 watch parties. That's just madness. I don't get paid for this.
But once in a while,
maybe once a week. Maybe once a week we'll do a watch party. For
Yeah, that
something.
sounds like a good
If
plan.
Black Swan has taught us anything, we should embrace the madness.
Yeah, I'll pick a movie a week. I mean, yeah, it's just
Embrace the red.
I've learned the completely wrong lesson of this movie.
absolutely me too. I'm like, oh, is this a guidebook on how to succeed? Oh, no.
But Tony
It
Robbins
ends in
does
death,
not tell
but
you.
it works.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be posting that information. I will be posting also that the 31 films, and you guys can join and discuss and all that kind of stuff, all that fun stuff. So I mean, if we go under quarantine again, if the second wave gets worse and we go out to work, maybe we'll bring this back. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
Please don't put that out into the universe, please.
Please, let's contain these bad vibes.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me, and keep an eye out for the movie of for October we're gonna be doing Halloween, but definitely starting November we'll do a classic movie every month that we'll watch and discuss and stuff like that. Okay.
Sounds good.
See you guys. Bye bye. Bye everyone in the chat. Take care.
Bye.
Like,